Hi, Patrick Russell, EA, coming to you from mmtaxman.com studios. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing a very emotional moment to those who've experienced it. I'm referring to, of course, receiving an IRS audit letter. A legitimate audit letter will only arrive by mail. I point this out for a very critical reason. Identity theft and email scams are so prevalent. The IRS is both powerless in manpower and enforcement measures to provide any real protection against scammers. It's critical you never respond to any emails or phone calls from criminal minds trying to cheat you out of your identity and your money. As I've said before, receiving an IRS audit letter comes with quite a shock. Over my 30 years of being in the tax business, I've developed a rather reliable barometer measuring just how unwanted that IRS letter really was. You start from the base annoyance of knowing you'll have to spend some time on the weekend searching through your records. Oh shit. And then of course it graduates to that feeling of maybe money might be coming out of your pocket.
Oh shit.
And then of course we graduate to that feeling of, oh my God, who do I call now? Okay, let's see. Oh shit! Statistically, the most common type of audit is the correspondence audit. This is the let's send everything back by mail, and as long as you have all the records requested, the case will be closed in short order, typically between 8 to 12 weeks. Now you have a standard 30-day window to respond to that initial IRS notice. Can you ask for more time? Sure. A one-time rescheduling of that initial meeting will be granted in most cases as a courtesy, even if your excuse isn't that big of an emergency. Now, in 99% of all correspondence audits, there is no face-to-face interview with the IRS agent. As long as the documents and records requested are submitted, the audit matter can be resolved quickly, meaning a closeout letter will be sent to you by the IRS agent that will dictate the audit is closed and with no change in tax liability. Now, I get this question all the time. Pat, what wins an audit? Records, and I mean lots of records. I take a moment to emphasize a dynamic that exists between the relationship of a client and the tax preparer. We trust you. IRS Circular 230, which is the name of the rule book all federal tax preparers follow, our Bible, if you will, states that all tax pros can rely on the information that you provide. Section 10.34, paragraph 3, subparagraph D, in a nutshell says that we can rely in good faith and without verification on the records that the clients provide. And during the storm of a tax season, let me tell you, it's that reliance that makes it possible for tax professionals to realistically prepare tax returns in the small amount of time provided. Mint, good seeing you again, buddy. Thanks for taking the time. I do have a couple of questions on what you submitted to me. The P&L on your bank statements are pretty hollow, buddy. I don't see a lot of activity. How are you paying your bills? Yo, Pat. What did I tell you, buddy? Don't worry. I've got all the records to back up everything on my tax return. Besides, I told you, I have a big family. These people take care of me. I fall into that gift exemption that you were telling me about. That's all me, baby. Besides, any expenses that doesn't look like I got covered, I got that monthly lotteria I can fall back on, huh? Okay. Man, I'm going over your tax return, your records one more time, buddy. Please tell me that you forgot to send me something. I don't get it. I'm looking at you right now. Where are you, buddy? How are you affording your lifestyle? What's going on? Yo, Pat, anybody ever tell you sound like a mother bear? Bro, we've been through this many times before. I got you. I got the spiel. I understand. Records. Let me tell you something, bro. Favorite uncle of mine passed away. He had some money. He left it to his favorite nephew. You get what I'm saying here, Pat? Remember that inheritance conversation? You said inheritances were tax-free? I got you, buddy. Okay. Are you sure, Mint? Remember, I gotta trust you. If you're telling me this is how it is, I'm gonna file your taxes as this is how it is. Are you sure? Yo, Pat. That's why I love you, my man. You're always bugging me about them records. Hey, let me tell you right now. Everything you see here, don't worry about it, Pat. Doesn't belong to me. If ever the man should ever come around looking to audit me, don't worry, Pat. I've got all the records you need. Trust me. Okay, Mint, you're the boss. We'll file your taxes as you requested. Just let me know if anything pops up. Have a great year. Now at this point, a client is going to be bringing into the office an IRS audit later. This is the moment where I will be asking you to bring in every document, receipt, or statement you possibly have. From the top of your attic, to your filing cabinet, to the bottom of the floorboard of your work truck. Every shred of proof we can recover, we will need. Because at this point, the curtains of a plausible position have been pulled back. And now the only thing that's going to matter is not what you say, is what you can prove. The very next question that I get is, Pat, what's going to be the hardest expenses to prove on my tax return? And that's an easy one. If your tax return includes a business filing that includes personal expenses that have carried over into business, and I've got 3, those are travel, meals and entertainment, and supplies. Now the reason why those expenses are a little tricky is because both the IRS and the world understands that there may be a personal element to those purchases that need to be removed. And it's for those reasons that it's important to not just have the receipts and proof of purchase, but that your narrative, the motive and intentions is proper for you to be able to take those business expenses. Now, as a tax professional, I understand these forces, and I make sure that everybody in my family understands that when they're on either a vacation, a shopping spree, or out having a night on the town, that they understand what the right motivation should be. Check it out.
Wow, Mom, can you believe it? Disneyland is open. Can we go?
Of course, sweetheart. Who cares how expensive the Disneyland is? It's just a business write-off anyways. Amira, what do you say when they ask for your ticket?
Have you contributed to your 401k this year? If not, visit imminenttaxman.com to find more ways you can save on your taxes.
That's my girl.
Mom, can you believe it? The Beverly Hills stores are open. Can we go buy a pair of shoes?
Of course, sweetheart. Who cares how expensive a pair of Louis Vuitton shoes are? You know it's a business write-off. Amira, what do you say when the attendant asks for your shoe size?
Have you contributed to your traditional IRA this year? If not, visit imminenttaxman.com to find ways to save on your taxes.
That's my girl.
Mom, can you believe it? They opened up Scottsdale. Can we go get something to eat?
Oh, sweetheart. Who cares how expensive dinner can be at Scottsdale? You know it's a business write-off anyways. Amira, what do you say when the waitress asks, what drink are you ordering?
Have you thought about the tax benefits for starting up your own HSA? If not, you can visit imminenttaxman.com to find more ways to save on your taxes.
That's my girl.
Now, as you can see, motivation, intent, and technicalities all are present in an IRS audit, which is why it's typically important for you to have proper representation when it comes to handling any IRS notification, to include those correspondence audits. At every point, you have to be mindful, just like you see in the movies, anything you say can and will be used against you. And it's important for you to have that buffer, for you to have that separation between you and the auditing organization to provide you with that fair playing field. They do this every day. They know exactly what questions to ask to put you in a bad position even if your records show you have every right to be claiming what you're claiming. I see this all the time. It's those little traps that typically will make an audit engagement go from a 1 to 2 month hassle to a 6 to 12 month real big pain in the ass. Now, as an enrolled agent, I have the ability to represent my clients in all facets of an audit. And I'm not just talking about the mailing correspondence audit. I'm actually talking about the in-person IRS examination, where you actually have to sit across the table from an agent and have them review your documents in front of you. Now, this is a very important advantage that we provide to all of our clients. We're a one-stop shop for individuals as well as our business tax clients. We can represent you from the beginning to the end to make sure you get the proper defense so that you only pay the appropriate amount of taxes on your tax return. Goes without saying that every audit is a different adventure. Now, fortunately, for most of our clientele, we're pretty good about answering IRS notices as soon as they pop up. So we typically don't have to hear about that extra type of audit that does exist. I'm talking about the IRS CID division. That's the criminal investigation division that appears when you're a real big tax cheater. Now, typically what happens is once a letter goes out, you have the opportunity to respond and answer whatever the IRS believes is out of order. But what if you don't answer? Well, after a while, the IRS does and will get tired of waiting, and they do have operatives that can make house calls. As in all the topics that we bring up in the show, it's not just enough to talk about it, we need to show you. And unfortunately, we do have video archives of a friend of the show that just recently had a very unfortunate encounter with an IRS agent through the course of their audit. Now, in life, I always like to say a person can be either a role model or a cautionary tale. In the case of our friend DJ Treasury, after this video encounter, I'll let you decide.
Settle down, people. It's time to get to work. Good morning. My name is Revenue Officer Fair Share. And for those who have worked with me before, you already know. I live and die by the IRS tax code. For those agents working with me for the first time, listen up. I live by one rule. Every American have to pay their fair share in taxes. Let me tell you, when they don't pay taxes, they're taking away from food from our kids' mouth. And that's not gonna happen, at least on my watch. Do you get me?
We get you, sir.
In my heart, there's not a bigger danger to American democracy than a tax cheater. Today, we're gonna take down one of the worst of all. Say hello to Mr. Francis McAdoo, aka DJ Treasury.
I heard he goes by the name Mint. Look at him. He's probably always asking for one.
Don't be fooled, people. This is the face of a mastermind tax cheater. But today, Mr. McAdoo is going to learn that every American have to pay their fair share on taxes. Do you get me?
We get you, sir.
Agents, you don't get much worse than this case. Reading Mr. McAdoo's rap sheets reads like a playbook from the 1950s when everybody stuffed money under their mattresses and will show up with a gym bag full of cash when they needed to buy something. No questions asked. Well, those days are over. Do you get me?
We get you, sir.
Agents, there's nothing more obscene to me than an American who cheats on his taxes. But guess what? The days of being able to hide outside the grief are over. Agents, we have been watching Mr. McAdoo for several weeks now and using undercover agents and stakeouts. And believe me when I said that watching this man leave makes you want to run to church and say a prayer for humanity. Saddle up, people. Today, Mr. McAvoy is about to learn the new American. It's about the law, the tax law. You don't get much uglier than this, agents. Mr. McAvoy has been paying for all this with his reportable income of only $1,000 or less for the past 6 years.
Case file shows lots of gifts, inheritances, and I quote, "I was just borrowing from a friend and I just haven't given it back yet." Case files also show that food stamps come to this address. You'd be surprised on how many people living in mansions still collect food stamps.
Mr. McAdoo knows all the tricks and he knows how to play the system.
You are a winner. You love and accept yourself. Money is flowing to you now. You are the master of your financial destiny. You are writing your financial storyline. You accept nothing less of great wealth and abundance.
Yo! Consuelo! Yo, how'd you guys get in here?
Don't worry about Consuelo. I give her the day off. I have a friend in USCIS and she was more than happy to let us in.
Yo, ain't that a bitch?
I guess it's my turn to play the bad cop on this one.
No, you gotta play the bad cop on the Stones case. It's my turn to turn this man into a sobbing mess.
Not too fast, agents. The estimated underreported of income exceeds 25%. What we have here is a clear case of
Negligence!
That's why I'm gonna handle this one personally.
Dang it!
Mr. McAdoo.
Yo, call me Mint.
No, Mr. McAdoo. I have been waiting for a long time for this moment. And let me tell you, chasing a tax trader like you takes a lot of overtime. Steak out, sleeping in a van, lots of empty calories. But today, the hemorrhoids and the carpal tunnel, all be worth it. I am taking you down, Mr. McAdoo.
Yo, my Dio went through an audit once. I don't remember him telling me any of this happened to him. You feel me?
Oh, really? Maybe that's because your Theo bothered to check his mail once in a while. I have on your file 16 unanswered notices that they were certified mail, signed by Consuelo, Conchita, Guadalupe, Guadalajara, Martinez.
Hey, yo, I'm a busy man, yo. I got my lady Consuelo handles my mail and a few other household errands, if you know what I mean.
I'm glad you mentioned this, Consuelo. How exactly are you paying her? It seems to me like she's a household employee. And let me tell you, household employees require payroll taxes and a year-end W-2. And I don't see these documents on your file.
Yo, good for you, Sly G. Whoa, man. You got me saying something that I shouldn't have. Yo, don't want to get a phone call on all of this? I know my rights. It's about time I start practicing my 56th Amendment rights, like right about now. You feel me?
A phone call? A phone call is not going to save you. An agent like me have every right to hold you, a suspect of a crime, safe and sound until you see a judge. Make it easier on yourself, Mr. McAdoo. Sign this confession statement that I have typed out for you. Sign it, and we can make this bad day end right now. I even bring a burger from Five Guys.
Yo, how do you know I like a burger from Five Guys?
Oh, that's because we have been watching you for a long time, Mr. McAdoo. I say we've been on you 24/7 for about 3 weeks.
Yo, Did you follow me down to Tampa?
That's right. You son of a... That was someone's daughter.
Yo, I've been blessed with a big fan base. You heard? Consuelo, she's my gatekeeper. She's the one that handles checking IDs, but come on. Everybody's human. You heard?
Gosh, how much do you pay this Consuelo?
Yo, I'm not gonna say another word until I get my phone call. I know my rights. I watch reruns of Law and Order. You heard? I want my phone call and I want it right now.
Go ahead, Mr. McAdoo. Lawyer up. You're gonna need it. Our true function has already been accomplished. We gave you full notification. Your last 3 tax returns are being audited. You are now under the microscope of the United States government, Mr. McAdoo. What you are going to learn now is that the IRS won't wait forever. We can and do make house calls. Oh, and Mr. McAdoo, when you see an IRS agent with a badge and gun, we don't think we got you. We know we got you. Have a great phone call, Mr. McAdoo.
Today in history. What else could I be talking about, people? Of course, I'd like to mention the Democratic National Convention, as well as the nominating of a woman of color, for a major national political party's VP candidate. Of course, I'm speaking of Kamala Harris. I'd like to take a moment to thank Joe Biden. Thank you, Joe. Up until this moment, I was thinking about this election as just a way of having to vote against something, which isn't as happy as being able to vote for something. And that's exactly what you provided to me, a gift, if you will. The idea of supporting a woman being in the highest office of our land is a position that I most happily support. I think in today's age, with the circumstances that we all face, having a woman's perspective and a woman's determination to fix our country is exactly what the doctor ordered. No pun intended, Dr. Fauci. 2020 has been a very weird year all around. The Democratic National Convention was not immune to this strangeness. Gone were the ruckus crowds. Gone were those elevated speeches that rode the emotions of the convention center and bringing us all to some fury of confidence that everything will be okay. And gone is probably that natural uptick in the polls based on the popularity of the Democratic National Convention. That big party that never was. The speeches were clinical, dry, and quiet. Even big-time gamers like Barack Obama and Bill Clinton could only marginally keep my interest because of the dry nature of how the presentation was given to us. It's just another sacrifice that we all have to make in the life of post-COVID-19. I figure that the Republican National Convention will probably fare even worse because they'll have the same circumstances of the quiet and clinical nature of the convention without the benefit of having big-time speech makers. So, at least from that standpoint, nothing's too lost. This has been Today in History. In today's Song of the Day, I'm going to be spotlighting a singer-rapper that I've been following personally for several years now. He's been flying, I should say, coasting under the radar for several years now, but I think he's on the verge of a big explosion into superstardom. I'm talking about Machine Gun Kelly. This week he came out with a new single, a collaboration with Black Bear called My Ex's Best Friend. I think it goes without saying that Machine Gun Kelly is allowing us to see into his personal life and to kind of get a sense of how life is now that he's taken on his new girlfriend, Megan Fox, and what her baggage, a certain Brian Austin Green in the background, might mean for his work later on. As far as this particular song is, it goes, it's a great way to introduce yourself to the work of Machine Gun Kelly. Now, personally, I've been following him since the days that he was running around with Wiz Khalifa and putting out great numbers like The Mind of a Stoner. Go figure, right? Take the titles out of it. Let me tell you right now, his sound is original. It's got a little bit of rock mixed in with a little bit of rap to go on with some clever lyrics that I think you all will identify with and rock out to. I really think that you'll enjoy that song. It's really worth a listen. Gotta be honest with you. Talking to you about Machine Gun Kelly right now is bringing a little sadness into my heart. For the longest time, he was this unknown diamond in the rough that I kept as a guilty pleasure, but now he belongs to the world. I think you'll enjoy him. In today's Click That Exit Button movie of the day, I've got a winner! Ding, 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 ding! Last week, I did pick a verified loser. And I'm talking about Johnny Depp's Waiting for the Barbarians. Now, I don't know exactly what possessed Johnny Depp to take on this role. I can only imagine that he had a few bills to pay now that he's going through that big court case with that Amber girl. Besides that, this movie is a slow, deliberate snoozer. If you like the kind of movies where they have each scene about 2 minutes too long and a lot of following the actors as they quietly ponder their thoughts, then this is the movie for you. If you're like the rest of us, please do yourself a favor and avoid this movie at all costs and click that exit button as soon as you possibly can. I wish I could. In today's sports report, I'll be looking at the NBA playoff bubble and seeing how each team is faring. Of course, we've got that hometown team. I'm a big homer, so I'm always going to start off with the Lakers and the Clippers. Right now, the Lakers are locked up 1-1 with Portland in the first round of the playoffs. I predict that to go down to Game 6, with the Lakers eventually pulling it off with a 4-2 victory. You have in the second Western Conference series, you have the Clippers versus the Mavericks. Currently, right now, you have the Clippers locked up in a series 1-1. The Mavericks are looking real great and rested with a lot of tools in order to combat some of the bigger positions that the Clippers are offering. I really believe that the Dallas Mavericks have the best chance of knocking off the Clippers in 6 games. Same thing with the Nuggets and Jazz. The Nuggets and Jazz, I believe, are evenly matched, and they both have high-powered, potent offenses that can go off on any night. And with the lack of the crowd, I do believe that that helps out high-scoring offenses to allow for the lack of the pressure of the big-time shots to be laid on the players at those critical moments. I think when you're playing at the gym at the Y, there's just simply a lot less pressure on you than when you're playing in front of 20,000 screaming fans. Sliding over into the Eastern Conference, we still have 3 playoff matches there as well. You have the Bucks versus the Magic. I gotta believe that now that the rust has been knocked off Milwaukee, them being the team to beat next to the Lakers, I think they're gonna run right through the Magic and we'll be done with this series in short order. I'm predicting them a 4-1 victory in the first playoff series there. You have the Raptors versus the Nets. Toronto has got a commanding lead 2-0 against the Nets, who are completely over their heads and just happy to be in the playoffs. I do believe that Boston will take care of this series in quick order, and you're looking at a potential sweep 4-0. In the last playoff series you've got the Celtics versus the 76ers. Wow. On paper, this seems like a great matchup of 2 Eastern Conference juggernauts, with the winner being given the opportunity to knock off the Milwaukee Bucks. Wow, what a prize. I'm looking forward to it. It is really the only league that I believe will successfully, without any problems, crown a champion, right next to hockey. Hockey being the other sports league that is doing a tremendous job in separating and organizing a playoff run that then takes into account the realities of the dangers of COVID-19. Good job, Major League Hockey. Good job, NBA. Bad job, Major League Baseball. And terrible job, college football and the pros. The fact that you're going to be pushing forward and using collegiate athletes as your testing tubes to see whether or not playing football in the middle of a pandemic is a good idea falls on you. Shame on you. You already know what I'm about to say. I have to bring this particular episode to a close, but that doesn't mean that our conversation regarding audits and what to do should you receive an audit letter is over. We're excited here at mmtaxman.com. We have a lot of lessons and a lot of new friends that will be coming to the show to help get our point across. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to email us at help@mmtaxman.com. That's help@mmtaxman.com, and feel free to send us any particular questions that you have on your mind. We'll be more than happy to help. I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Until then, my friends, take care.